she can't hear us. Speak freely. That's what my hairstylist told her friend 2 minutes into braiding my hair. She had no idea my mother raised me speaking that exact language. I need you to sit down for this one, because what I am about to tell you, I did not hear from anybody. I did not hear it from a friend of a friend. I lived it. It happened to me. Until today, when I close my eyes, I can still hear the two of them laughing right above my head, thinking I was deaf to my own mother's tongue. My name doesn't matter for this story, just call me Lumi. And by the time I finish talking, you will understand why silence, real silence, is the most expensive thing a person can own. Let me take you back to where it started. You know how it is in this country. You finish university, and before the nation even lets you become a full adult, it asks one more thing of you. 1 year. Service year. They scatter you across the land like seeds, post you to a state that is not your own, put you in a camp with thousands of strangers and tell you, go and learn your country. For 3 weeks, you eat what everybody eats, you sleep where everybody sleeps, and you find out fast who is really your friend and who is only auditioning to be one. I was posted to a quiet town in the east, deep in Igbo land, far from anywhere my face was familiar. I kept to myself. I worked remotely, design and content, the kind of job that lives inside a laptop and a strong signal. I had my own money and with my own mind, and I had learnt a long time ago that the loudest people in a room are rarely the hardest working. I didn't announce myself, but in a camp full of broke COP members, a girl whose things were always neat, whose phone was always busy, who never seemed to be struggling, that girl gets noticed whether she wants to or not. One person noticed me faster than anybody. Her name was Uche. Now, Uche wasn't posted to that state by accident. She had pulled every string to serve in her own hometown, a stone's throw from the little hair salon she'd spent 2 years building with her own hands. Smart girl, actually. Because to her, service year was never about the nation. It was about who she could put in her phone before it ended. And when her eyes landed on the quiet girl with the calm money and the neat edges, she did what she does best. She smiled, she got close, she made herself useful. You're always working even in camp. I respect that, she told me one evening. Me, I'm the same. I built my own salon. No man, no help, just me. And that one sentence, is what opened my heart to her. Because if there's one thing I respect in this life, it's a woman who builds something with her own 2 hands. I thought I had found somebody worth knowing. I didn't know, I had only met the mask. If you've ever let someone in because of one sentence they said, just one, type one sentence in the comments right now. Let's see how many of us there are. When camp ended, I did something that surprised even me. I stayed in that town. It was quiet, the rent was kind, and my work followed me wherever there was light and signal. So I found my small apartment, set my desk by the window, and kept living my life. Laptop open before sunrise, money landing quietly, no noise, no drama. Uche was thrilled. A friend with money living close by. She wouldn't let it rest. Come to my salon now, let me show you what your friend can do. Week after week, I kept postponing. Not for any real reason, I was just busy. But she begged, until one quiet afternoon, mostly to end the begging, I finally said yes. I did not know I was walking straight into the afternoon that would show me exactly who she was. Her salon sat on a busy street, small, clean, 2 big mirrors, the warm, thick smell of hair products in the air. When I walked in, she wasn't alone. Lumi, you came, she said, all teeth. This is my friend Mandy. Mandy, this is the Lumi I've been telling you about. Mandy looked at me up and down in one slow, smiling sweep, the kind of look that's pretending to admire you while it's actually pricing everything on your body. So this is Lumi, she said. I've heard plenty. I sat down. We agreed on a sewing. Uche draped the cape over me, picked up her comb, and started the first row. Mandy pulled up a chair to keep company. Everything was ordinary. The scrape of the comb, low radio, easy salon small talk. Then Mandy said something to Uche, and she said it in another language. Not English. The language of that state, the tongue of the Igbo people, the exact same language my mother had spoken to me since I was a baby in her arms. Here is the part neither of them knew. My mother is Igbo. I carry my father's name, and my quiet manner had never given anyone a reason to guess. I grew up hearing that language every single day, scolded in it, loved in it, fed in it, prayed over in it. I understood it as well as I understood my own heartbeat. So when Mandy slid into it, my first instinct was warm, almost automatic. I nearly smiled, nearly opened my mouth to say, you people are speaking my mother's tongue too. But something stopped me. A small, quiet voice at the back of my mind said, wait, say nothing, just listen. So I listened. Is this the one? Mandy asked in the language. The girl from camp you've been telling me about all this time? This is her, Uche answered, hands never slowing. And the best part, she can't hear a single thing we're saying. Speak freely. She doesn't understand one word. Pause right there for me, because I need you to imagine it. Sitting in a chair, somebody's hands in your hair, and hearing in perfect clarity that the person smiling at you in the mirror has just told a stranger you are deaf to your own blood. I didn't blink. I didn't stop scrolling. So tell me about her, Mandy said, leaning in. You said she has money. My sister, this girl doesn't even know what to do with money in camp. She refused to eat camp food, refused completely. Everybody was managing beans and rice, and Madame here was ordering from Mami Market 3 times a day like a queen. Pure pride. And washing. She wouldn't wash her own clothes with her own hands. People were washing for small money in camp, and she would just bundle her things and pay, as if her fingers are too delicate to touch water. Some people Mandy clicked her tongue. I haven't even told you the best one, Uche said, voice dropping lower, sweeter, crueler. Look at her hair. Look at the back. This girl doesn't even have hair of her own. Thin, almost finished like matan grass. But every week she's carrying a new style, plating and plating on top of nothing. If you have money, fine, but at least grow your own hair first before you start forming. They laughed, low and easy, right above my bowed head. My thumb kept moving across my screen. I did not pause. I did not flinch. But something cold and very calm was quietly taking notes. And what does she even do for this money? Mandy asked. She works on a laptop, remote, that's what she calls it. Sits in her house, pressing computer, and money is just entering her account. That's not work, that's play. So me, I have a plan, her smile widened in the mirror, though I never looked up to catch it. This hair, the price I'm charging her today is double, and she won't even notice. She'll transfer it like it's ordinary water, and I'll keep doing it every single time she comes. Why not? God has sent me a customer who doesn't check price. Who am I to refuse a blessing? Mandy laughed so hard she held her own chest. It's not wickedness, Uche said. It's business. And let me be honest, since the girl can hear, I don't even like her. I've never liked her. That quiet pride of hers irritates my spirit. But money is money, so I'll keep smiling in her face. I'll keep collecting. As long as her account is open, she's my best friend in this world. The day the money stops, that is the day the friendship dies.
You are a smart girl, Mandy told her. By the time I finish with this one, Uche said, patting another section, she will have built half of this salon for me without even knowing it. She's paying for my next dryer. She just hasn't realized it yet. Now, let me ask you something, and I want an honest answer in the comments. Have you ever sat in a room while people insulted you, not knowing you understood every single word? Type I can relate if you have, and tell me, at this exact point, what would you have done? Shouted, walked out, or stayed calm like me? And before we go on, if this is your first time hearing me, hit subscribe. There's a reason people keep coming back for these stories, and you're about to find out why. The hours went by. The cornrows went down, neat and tight. The wefts went in, row after row, and I won't lie, Uche was good. By the time she reached for her scissors to trim the final shape, the afternoon light had gone golden through the windows. There, she said, fluffing it out, beaming with all her false sugary warmth. Did I lie? You look like $1 million, my friend. It's lovely, I said quietly. You really do have good hands. Anything for my friend, she sang. I reached into my bag, brought out my phone, calm and unhurried. I pressed a contact, lifted it to my ear, and waited. 2 rings, and then I began to speak. Not in English, in the exact language they had been swimming in all afternoon. Fluent, warm, easy, the tongue flowing out of my mouth like clean water that had always lived there. Mommy, I said in flawless Igbo, smiling gently. Yes, I'm at the salon now. I just finished my hair. No, I'm fine. I'll tell you everything when I get home. You will not believe the kind of day I've had today, Mommy. You will not believe it at all. The salon went silent.
Not quiet silence, the kind of silence where you could hear a pin drop from the ceiling to the floor. Uche's hand froze mid-air, scissors and all. Mandy's head came up slowly from her phone, her smile sliding off her face like wet paint down a wall. I kept talking, soft and unbothered, telling my mother about my day, while the two women behind me stood frozen, the full and terrible understanding crawling up their spines, inch by inch. I had understood the whole time, every word, every joke about my hair, every laugh, every wicked little plan. When I finally said goodbye to my mother and lowered the phone, I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. I turned, looked Uche dead in the eyes through the mirror and switched this time to clear, calm English. My mother is Igbo. I've spoken this language since before I could walk. So everything you said today, from the very first word to the very last, I heard all of it. Every single bit. You could watch the blood leave Uche's face. Lumi, Don't, I said, raising one finger, gently. You talked for 3 hours straight. Now it's my turn, and you will let me finish. Her mouth closed. I began, my voice steady, low, clear. I work 8, 10, sometimes 12 hours a day, with my mind, with my brain. I create things out of nothing. I solve problems that companies on the other side of the world pay me good money for because they cannot solve them. That is a skill. Not everybody's portion in this life. You think because there's no sweat on my forehead, no work is being done? The hardest work in this world happens in the place you cannot see it. I let that sit. You said I waste money. No, I know exactly what every naira of mine is doing. I didn't eat camp food because I have a sensitive stomach, and I chose my health over your pride. I paid people to wash my clothes because my time is worth more than the hours I lose scrubbing, and that same money fed somebody's family that month. I know the kind of life I want, and I am building it on purpose with both my eyes open. What you call waste, I call choices. There's a difference. You just can't see it from where you're standing. Then I turned to Mandy, who had suddenly become very interested in the floor. And you don't even know me. You sat here and helped a stranger spoil the name of somebody you've never met, laughing, adding pepper to the soup. You two suit each other perfectly. You know why? Because you are both snakes. The only difference is one of you happens to be holding a comb. The room was so quiet it almost hurt to breathe in it. You said, I continued, turning back to Uche, that you'd keep me close as long as possible, that you're not really my friend, you only want my money. Good news for you. I smiled and there was nothing warm left in it. As long as possible is today. This right here is the last day. Her lips trembled. Lumi, please let me explain. It was just talk. We were only joking. One more thing, I said, reaching up and lightly touching the sewing she just spent 3 hours installing. I don't want this in my hair. I don't want your hands, your words, or your dirty energy sitting on top of my head, following me home, sleeping where I sleep. You're going to take it out. All of it. Now. If you think that was too far, tell me in the comments. And if you think she got exactly what she deserved, tell me that too. I want to hear both sides. This is where it gets good. For a long moment, Uche didn't move, eyes wet, face hot with shame. Mandy had gone completely silent, suddenly fascinated by the direction of the door. But I only looked at her and waited. Calm, settled, a woman who knew exactly what she wanted and was in no hurry to get it. So Uche, the hairstylist who bragged about charging double, who laughed about a future dryer paid for by a fool, picked up her scissors with shaking hands and began to undo it, weft by weft, row by row, undoing hours of her own work in front of her silent friend and her silent salon. Her cheeks burned the entire time. She said nothing. There was nothing left to say. When the last cornrow came loose, I stood, straightened my clothes and brought out my phone one final time. How much is it sewing here? The real price, not the price for fools. She named the true amount in a voice barely louder than a breath. I transferred exactly that, not 1 naira more. No tip, no extra, just what the service was honestly worth, and absolutely nothing for the disrespect. Thank you for the lesson. It was very educational. Then I picked up my bag, walked to the door, and left without once looking back. I never went back. My hair grew slowly, the way real things grow. And somewhere in that salon, 2 women sat in a silence they built for themselves, replaying an afternoon they could never undo. Never insult the river while your feet are still in the water. You never know who taught the river how to swim. If that gave you chills, you're not alone. Tell me the truth in the comments. Should I have taken out the entire sewing or just left it in and walked away? And if you've ever had to walk away from a fake friend who only wanted what they could squeeze out of you, type "I can relate" and tell us your story. If this touched you, share it with somebody who needs to hear it. There's another one waiting for you right now. Tap it.